Thank you, President Brian. It's a great pleasure to introduce the two major awards of the Rotary Club at Newmarket, the MacFarlane Medal for Excellence in Obstetric Nursing and the Anne Craig Memorial Medal for Excellence in Paediatric Nursing. These are both significant awards. The awards consist of a medal, splendidly mounted medal, a certificate, and a cheque for $1,500 for the MacFarlane Award and $2,000 for the Anne Craig Memorial Medal, the $500 difference being made up by a generous donation directly by Ross Craig. I must firstly thank Kirsty Walsh for organising the selection of the two awardees and for accompanying Sarah and Rosalie today. Kirsty is Acting General Manager, Women's Health, Auckland District Health Board. We're delighted to have you today, Kirsty. The MacFarlane Medal honours Alistair MacFarlane. Alistair was president of this Rotary Club in 1975. Unlike this rather austere photo, Alistair was full of good humour and wit, although his profession as an obstetrician and gynaecologist frequently gave a gynecological flavour to his stories. His son, Alistair Jr., became president exactly 20 years after his father. Alistair Sr. inducted both Richard Solomon and myself into this club in 1976. But my family had had a close relationship with Alistair long before then. My elder brother, who became an obstetrician, was Alistair's godson. And I think Alistair was rather pleased that a sort of relative moved into his special field of interest. One of the most enjoyable Rotary functions soon after I joined the club was a boating weekend with Alistair and Bruce Cornish. They had their whisky and milk because of stomach ulcers, and the problem was not running out of whisky but running out of milk. I was so fired up by this unfamiliar drink that in the course of an energetic haka I broke a plank on the deck of Whakanui, and I continued to apologise to Nobby Clark. Alistair was very highly regarded in the medical profession for his skill, his care and concern for patients, and his integrity. This year's recipient is Sarah MacDonald. Sarah is a community midwife with a most impressive citation. She is described as an amazing role model, a natural leader, and other adjectives describe her as willing, caring, sensible, flexible, sympathetic, confident, and innovative. She has specialised and cared superbly for teen mums, a particularly vulnerable group, providing a strong but gentle way with them. Clearly, she is a very worthy recipient of whom I'm sure Alistair would have approved wholeheartedly. Now, over the years, Alistair's widow Prue has made the presentation, but regretfully she is not well enough to do so today. It is, however, right and proper for Alistair Jr. to make this presentation. So I'd ask Alistair to come and make the presentation to Sarah MacDonald. Would you like
Thank you very much. It's a delight and a surprise to get this award. Can you hear me? I've been working towards just establishing a teenage pregnancy service through the Auckland District Health Board, really to match what's happening in other areas of New Zealand. We've got about 10% of our babies born at Auckland each year are to young mums, so probably we're not going to stop people from getting pregnant the first time, but hopefully by giving them a good experience and engaging well with them in their pregnancies, we can help them on their way and the rest of their lives, but also maybe reduce the amount of subsequent pregnancies that we see with these people. And the girls that we look after are quite socially disadvantaged usually, so there's an area of child protection work that we are really strongly trying to established within the DHB itself. But this is a lovely award. I didn't expect it at all. I'm very thankful to the Rotary for making this possible, and I thought that I was coming to the end of this project, but I actually see now that this is probably just the beginning. So I'm going to have to use this money well to make sure that we get the service moving and make it dynamic and long lasting. Thank you.
The second award is the Anne Craig Memorial Medal for Excellence in Paediatric Nursing. I shall tell you a little about Anne, particularly for our newer members and our guests. Anne and Ross had a very strong partnership until Anne died 7 years ago. Anne enjoyed her work in the children's library before marrying Ross and bringing up their 3 children. When the children were independent, Anne qualified as a law clerk, assisting Ross professionally. She was active in church work, and she was an elder in the Presbyterian Church. She was very active in Rotary, not only assisting Ross, especially when he was district governor, and Anne in traditional New Zealand garb at the induction of district governors, and she was not only active in helping Ross, but she was a founding member of the Auckland Inner Wheel, and later she was president of that group. This shows Anne receiving her Sapphire Paul Harris Fellowship in recognition of her work in Rotary, Inner Wheel and the community. This year's awardee for the Anne Craig Memorial Medal for Excellence in Paediatric Nursing is Jean-Anne Holt. Now, unfortunately, Jean-Anne is leaving today for 4 months overseas. However, we have an engaging personality, Rosalie Hornan, who is deputising for her, and we welcome you, Rosalie. I do not need to mention a lot about Jean-Anne in her absence, except to say that she is a paediatric nurse specialist. She has provided a continuous insulin infusion service for children with diabetes. Now, an explanation for that, children with diabetes have to have insulin, and traditionally it's given by injection, and of course that provides marked fluctuations in the blood levels of insulin despite the manipulations of insulin into quick-acting and slow-acting insulin. Now, the way of getting an even insulin level is by a pump. That's a continuous infusion pump worn on the body, and this is, 1, technically difficult, and 2, you can imagine a child with this, with the difficulties in educating that child and supporting them in the use of it. But with this continuous infusion of insulin, diabetes can be stabilised much better than in the past. So Jean-Anne, paediatric nurse specialist, and these nurse specialists really, as I've said before, represent a major change in the structure of the nursing profession as compared with when I started. Now, we have Ross and his daughter Liz, and I'd ask them to come up and make the presentation to Rosalie on behalf of Jean Ann.
You're going to get the check, are you? All right.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Thank you.
Well, that's-
Thank you.
that's so-
I'll take it.
Hi, thanks so much for having me here today. It really is a privilege to be able to be here for Jean Ann Holt, and it's been really wonderful just sitting with Ross and Liz and meeting them, and it just gives so much more meaning to the award. Jean Ann Holt has dedicated the last 25 years of her life to paediatric diabetes, and she basically single-handedly set up the insulin pump program at Starship Hospital to bring it in line with Australia and the UK in terms of giving children that opportunity. She is such an inspiration to paediatric nurses, and thank you so much to Rotary for recognising her for that. Thanks.